How's it going, guys? Welcome to SHOT Show 2020. Today we are sitting down with Williams Blade Design. It's a father-son team that's designing some pretty incredible knives. We have Blade HQ. Because of our limited space, we're going to go one, then the other. So we're sitting down with James first. He's going to run us through some of our designs. And then we're going to bring Christopher on to run us through some of the designs that he's done. Thanks for being on. Appreciate it.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
So let's kind of jump into some of the designs, concepts that kind of got what you have going now going.
Okay. So I have a large background in classical Japanese samurai arts, sword arts, etc. Company Bugei Trading Company makes and sells swords, so I'm very well known for that. And those were actually the arts of war, differentiates from a lot of the modern stuff that we call martial arts. So in the late 90s, working with Naval Special Warfare and some other people, looking at a knife that they could take down range, you know, and I looked at what was out there and I wasn't that impressed in a sense. You know, I buried a lot of people in 1968. I've got sons. What would I want them to carry? What would, you know, grunts, 11 Bravos, 0311s, Marines, and Army. What would they carry? So I looked back in Japanese history and found a design that really works well. It's called Osuraku Zukuri, and one of the things that makes it so different is it's got a very elongated point. So what you have is a very elongated point for penetration, and then a very long cutting edge. Because when you move your arm, there's an arc of that, and the cutting edge matches the arc. So this fixed blade was, with CRKT, was the first knife that really got put out into the public. Years later, got a request from SOCOM, Special Operations Command, for a deep concealment folder that would be thin, have a similar blade shape, and would be able to do the job. And so this then started that particular folder design, although there was a previous Hisatsu folder from this with a similar blade shape as well. We followed it up with various shapes. This is a small fixed blade that you can see has basically the same blade shape, and it's very light, very easy to carry. The sheath allows it to be carried inside the waistband or wherever you actually want to do it. Tip it a little bit so the knife runs parallel to the body, but it makes for a very nice, small, concealed fixed blade.
Now I noticed you drew that appendix carry. Is that how you prefer to carry this one?
So what I do is, because of the sword, everything's carried a particular way, edge up, etc. So my experience has taught me, don't complicate things. If everything's carried the same way, done the same time, then anytime you touch something, you know exactly what the orientation is.
Recreate it across the board.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So whether I'm wearing Japanese swords or I'm wearing other things, you know, in my tack vest, I'll have the Hisatsu sitting vertical with a pistol here, so either one can be hit by either hand. Okay, and I usually carry a Yukon in the strap because you never know when you need enough, right? Man can't have too many knives when you have work to be done, right?
There you go.
So we then, my son Christopher and I, who's been involved in blades and stuff since high school, Bugei catalog and everything, and grew up around this, decided to start a knife company. And we'd had a request from Elite Special Operations Unit for a knife. And they wanted us to collaborate with Daniel Winkler because they really liked, you know, their quality. And so that started us on a whole other series of knives. The first one was a 6.5-inch version of this. This is the 9-inch version, but they're virtually identical except for size. And so this one's actually Hirozukuri because the blade's virtually flat coming down through the hole, okay? And again, what you're looking for is penetration, slashing. Keep things very simple. People ask, well, why don't you have guards? If you hold the knife properly, you don't need a guard. All it does is get in the way. And you're not fencing, you're not fighting with somebody. That would be a very bad idea, speaking from personal experience, okay? So you don't want to do that. So you can see that the grip is really substantial. You could dip this in oil and still not slip. But learning how to hold it and use it is a whole nother skill set. Like I say, we had a 6.5-inch version. Then Christopher had the idea, well, let's do a smaller one, Dad, like a really easy everyday carry for people. So we took that design and and made it 4.5 inches, and it's been very popular. You can skin with it. I mean, all kinds of small tasks, easy to carry, easy to wear. So these have been very successful for us.
And what's the blade material and handle material on this?
So the blade material on this is 80 CRV2. And 80 CRV2, when it's heat treated, etc., properly, is an enormously tough steel. It's good edge holding, but it's phenomenal for toughness. So, you know, when we look at steels, you know, people say, well, what's the best blade steel? What are we doing with the knife?
Right. What's the work you're doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, depending on what you're doing with the knife, you match the steel to the task at hand. If people are going to use these like our military does, then breakage is the single. You have to have the toughest possible knife. Okay. Edge holding's not a big deal.
Right.
So now it's not that these don't hold edge well, but they're not the best at that. If you go at the extremes of edge holding, you've got brittleness. I mean, it's just a compromise. It's the universe we live in, right? Some of this, some of that. You can't have it all. So then I've always been very interested in camping and outdoor stuff as well. And so I had a request, and we designed an axe, a hand axe, that could do everything that you needed to do. So obviously this bearded axe is a classic Viking design. And what a lot of people don't realize is a long time ago, people didn't have like an axe for this and an axe for that. They had an axe. If they were going to chop a tree down, if they're going to split wood, or if they're going to go to, you know, defend their home, they had an axe.
They had to do it all.
And so this design offers lots. You can skin. I think I showed you pictures of friends skinning out a whole deer with the axe. You can pound with it. Any place you want to work with it, it's easy. The handle, I changed a little bit. Modern people aren't used to holding things and working for any period of time, right? So with this, you can use it so that you let the axe fall, which you should do anyway. You're not holding it like this and trying to start and stop it. And so it makes for a very efficient tool. I wanted something, if I'm going to carry it out there, I could build everything up to a cabin if I had to. You can debark the tree, you can delimb the tree, you can use it as a skiff to shape the wood if you have to. So it's a very useful axe in every way, shape, and form. Defense capabilities as well, including against animals. So this was, when you look into history, our ancestors knew what shapes were necessary. Because
their
they didn't have
depended on it, right?
Every day. I mean,
yeah.
Even Western Europe during the Middle Ages stuff. I mean, children as early as 3 and 4 had sharp knives because you couldn't get through the day without having a tool. So when you look at shapes, look into history, find those shapes. We have better materials, etc., but we're not making better shapes than that. So all of these have classical, including this dagger, okay, which was another request from Elite Special Operations Unit. What you have is a shape that you can go all the way back to Tutankhamun's tomb and look at double-edged daggers that are shaped like this with a wasted handle, etc. So, what we're doing is, using all the experience, and I've got extensive of experience with all of these things in various environments, and history, and tying, modern knowledge and technology into ancient knowledge. And coming up with stuff that really works well.
What's the ultimate field test, right? The ultimate field test is how many hundreds, thousands of years have we been using this shape, right?
So all of these are classical designs in that sense of the term. We've picked the best steels for what we wanted to do with the knives, and again, toughness for most of these are the most important. This is Schlipner steel, or if you can pronounce Odin's horse properly, I'm sure I'm making a mess out of that.
Right.
But it's named for Odin's 8-legged horse, the steel, and it's an evolution of D2, so it's another very tough, very durable steel, specifically for knives. So, that's been our whole emphasis, is how can we make the best tools for people that actually work when you use them, not designed to sit on shelves, not designed to be just carried in your pocket, but when I need the knife, is it going to work for me?
Cool. Well, that's great. There's a lot of incredible designs here. I know when we were looking at this axe earlier, this really stuck out to me. And yeah, you laid out kind of all these different hold weight patterns and all these different ways that you can use it. Really, really interesting stuff. So,
and I go out with these things. I split wood with them. I chop stuff down. I work with them myself. I need to know that they work, right? So I need to know that they work. You can see that one's been used a bit. I redid the edge, but it's been used a bit.
That's good. We like to see things that are used.
Yes. So.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, let's bring Christopher on and take a look at what else you guys have going.
Great.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. So now we have Christopher, who is James' son, because it's a son and father team, which is a pretty cool deal. And so your dad kind of broke down a lot of your guys' design philosophy. He broke down a lot of the uses and reasons why you guys are using certain blade shapes, certain materials, that type of thing.
Exactly.
And what you've brought these designs you guys have been working on to take these very classical, traditional patterns and make them a little more pocket-friendly.
Right.
Yeah. So what do we have on the table?
Right. So this is our OZF series, the OZ for Osaraku Zukuri folder. This was the OZF 001, and as you may know, we do all of our batches limited run. So this is 300-piece batch, all this same size, 4.2-inch blade. It's a titanium frame lock, and it has a single-piece carbon fiber milled handle. So there's no spacer in there, which lightens it up a lot and also makes it substantially stiffer. There's fewer moving parts in there.
And that's what I would say when I was handling these other ones here that we'll get to. I was surprised at, one, how stiff that one is, but also how it's not slippery. The carbon fiber you have is, and that's actually an issue that I find with carbon fiber, especially if you're looking at it, from even a tactical standpoint or whatever type of use standpoint. Right, it's nice that it's not.
Yes, and that's again, like we always try to draw inspiration from classical examples. So what this milling pattern was designed to represent, and you can see it on the other one as well, is it represents the classic. It's called katate maki in Japanese, but it's the battle wrap. And so basically, it's the silk ito, the silk wrap that they wrap around the handle. And so it gives it a little bit of that feel. I mean, obviously it's not exactly the same, but it hints at that, and it actually works quite well to give you like a nice purchase on the handle on both the titanium side and the carbon fiber side,
for sure.
Which can get a little slippery.
Yeah, no, and it really is that kind of like form meets function, right?
Exactly.
There's like a good traditional reason for it to be there, but also it works out.
Yeah,
a good grip.
That's always the goal, and try to do it in a way that's not like too kitschy or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So then what do we have with the smaller folder?
So with the smaller folder, that's the one I've been carrying, obviously, because that's part of the fun part about doing this, is you get to make things you can carry yourself. So the smaller folder, I basically shrunk down the design. I changed the opening to slight scalloped opening here, so it allows for a perfectly symmetrical handle. And the handle the narrowest point of the handle is the same width as the blade before it's sharpened. So it gives it like a nice symmetry there. And it's got the same type of construction with the grooves coming all the way through so that it matches on the back. And this weighs in at about 2.8 ounces. So
nice
for a 3.5-inch blade, you actually get quite a lot of blade in there for something that's quite light. And then you also have, one of the things that we like to do is keep everything with the best materials possible, but also the most practical. So as much as I like the look of titanium clips and how awesome they are, the classic stainless steel clip, which is ambidextrous, and it gives you like a nice spring action, really is hard to beat for practicality.
Yeah, for sure.
And these are all on IKBS bearings as well, and with M390 steel. And we make them all with line steel in Italy. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to go out there several times a year and work with them directly. And
cool.
That's been a fun collaboration.
Kind of get the project, get the exact product you're looking to get.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, and then you have kind of two special ones. So this is kind of you do them in runs, right? But this is kind of the production version, right?
That's the standard.
The standard. And then this one here, we've got Damascus.
Yes.
Which is pretty sweet.
It is pretty sweet. The only mistake I made is I didn't make very many of them.
Yeah.
And so there will be a couple going to Blade HQ.
Cool.
And I'm hoping to save like 1 or 2 for Blade Show for our booth.
Right.
But the rest already gone.
Yeah.
So so get them while they last. And
then,
these also feature bronzed
right.
titanium,
On the
and
back.
only the Damasteel ones are bronze titanium.
And then speaking of going to Blade HQ, we also have an exclusive on the table.
We do,
Yeah,
yes.
that's like
So-
brand new, getting ready to launch any minute now.
So yes, this is the exclusive Blade HQ blue. So it's that same, I think it's called electroanodization. Basically, you just run a current through the titanium and it changes colors. You only have 3 options: blue, bronze, and purple. So we figured, Blade HQ's color is blue, so we'll do a blue version. And these will only be available at Blade HQ, and they should be ready soon.
Soon, yeah. I don't know. We'll have a link.
Yeah. And these are limited to 30 pieces total, so
Cool. So
get them while they last.
limited run for sure. Yeah, awesome. Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing
Absolutely.
with us. Guys, James is sitting off camera, but we thanked him as well for coming on and sharing with us. Again, kind of a tight space at SHOT Show. We kind of have to just make things work, so we appreciate you guys making things work. A lot of neat knives here. If you guys haven't checked them out, check them out on the website. We'll have a link down in the description. You already showed us what was in your pocket, so we know what you're carrying.
Yeah. Now you know.
Yeah, there we go.
Secret's out.
So, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And make sure to check out our SHOT Show 2020 playlist here on YouTube, and see you on the next one.